Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 10th chapter, text number 4. Antah pravishya gangayam ambhoja vanarajinim chikridatur yuvatibhir gajaviva karenubhi antah pravishya gangayam ambhoja vanarajinim chikridatur yuvatibhir gajau iva karenubhi. Mataji? Antaha, within. Pravishya, entering. Gangayam, the Ganges, known as Mandakini. Ambhoja, of lotus flowers. Vanarajini, where there was a congested forest. Chikridatuhu, the two of them used to enjoy. Yuvathibihi, in the company of young girls. Gajau, two elephants. Iva, just like. Karenhubihi, with female elephants. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Translation. Within the waters of the Mandakini Ganges, which were crowded with gardens of lotus flowers, the two sons of Kuvera would enjoy young girls, just like two male elephants enjoying in the water with female elephants. Purport. People generally go to the Ganges to be purified of the effects of sinful life. But here is an example of how foolish persons enter the Ganges to become involved in sinful life. It is not that everyone becomes purified by entering the Ganges. Everything, spiritual and material, depends on one's mental condition. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Srimati Paschate Shatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasan Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Text once again. Antah pravishya gangayam ambhoja vanarajini chikridatur yuvati bhir gajao iva kareno vihi. Within the waters of the Mandakini Ganges, which were crowded with gardens of lotus flowers, the two sons of Kuvera would enjoy young girls, just like two male elephants enjoying in the water with female elephants. So this is the introduction to the description of this Yamala Arjuna deliverance, Yamala Arjuna trees deliverance, which happened actually after Damodar is a part actually of this Damodar Kartik Lila. Krishna was at that time 3 years, 2 months old, and these 3-year-old kids, they can make a lot of mess. Even if you take keep an eye on them, they still do a lot of mess. Actually, they can hurt themselves. You cannot leave these kids with alone in the house with matches or with something. They can burn the house. They can cause a lot of trouble, a lot of damage, and finally ultimately they can hurt themselves. This is exactly what happened when Krishna knocked down these 2 trees, Yamalarjuna trees. Everybody was, the Matajis, the gopis, everybody ran to the spot where they heard that tremendous sound of trees falling, and they were in great anger. What happened? Where is Krishna? Subconsciously, they knew that Krishna again did something, some trouble, some mischief, but they were afraid. They're very anxious. What happened to Krishna? What happened to Krishna? And then these boys who were nearby playing, they say, "Oh, Krishna knocked down these trees." And then, of course, Nanda Maharaj and some others, they didn't believe. It was unbelievable. These trees were standing there for 36,000 years. Even now, if you go to, in North America, they have these sequoia trees, which are like several thousand years old, or in Eastern Europe, in Mediterranean, you can see the olive trees, which are standing there since, Roman Empire, like a few thousand years old. But these trees were 36,000 years old, so they were very huge. Have you seen this picture of the sequoia trees in North America? They're such a huge trees that some, they have such a deep roots, and actually these roots are quite high, and sometimes as the whole trunk of the tree is lifted up, and then there are some trees where people can pass with a car, just how this trunk, the trunk is here, and then the roots are coming, on the sides. So sometimes the trees are lifted up a little bit, and there is a hole. So with a car you can pass, through this. Just tremendous, huge trees. So these Yamalarjuna trees for 36,000, they were not ordinary. They were not, small trees. They were huge trees. And Krishna came and knocked them down. So, but let us go back to this. This purport describes actually how everything began. The demigods, they're Sakama Bhaktas, means they have a lot of desires, just like all of us. But because of their tremendous piety, they have very great opportunity to satisfy their senses. And actually this pastime happened, the prelude to the curse of the Nalakuvara and Manigriva happened actually on higher realms. Like we have Ganges here, which is shooting up from Gangotri and coming down, to the plains of northern India, and then ends in actually it's visible for us. Ends in this Ganga Sagar, but actually then it's described. It's from there. It's coming down to the nether planets, to the lower planets. But for that visible, part of the Ganges flow, for us, Ganges comes from Gangotri. But actually, the Himalayas, which we see, and there is a Kailash, of course, in Himalayas. It's not the Himalayas which Bhagavatam and Kailash which Bhagavatam describes here. They're on Jambudvip, there are Varshas, and there are original Himalayas which are 10,000 yojanas high, and then from there Ganges is actually falling there on the Himalayas. Ganges is falling from the top of the Sumeru mountain, and before that, Sumeru. Before coming to the Sumeru, to the center of Sumeru, Ganges is flowing in the Svargaloka, higher, and then demigods are transporting her from planets to planets. And it's amazing how Ganges is coming, from that hole which was pierced by Vamana. So this particular thing happened on that flower. That Ganges is called Mandakini in the. I guess that's. Let's see. There is a Jambudvip, and then that's in Ilavrita Varsha, I guess. Is it? Is Kailash in Ilavrita Varsha, Himalayas? I'm just thinking, where is Mandakini Ganges? Where is flowing? Like Bharatvarsha is the last on the south. Then there are original Himalayas, and then what's the next Varsha? Kimpurusha Varsha. Okay, Kimpurusha Varsha. So, but then the description are there in 5th canto, especially, and in other places also, how such a amazing Nandakanana gardens are there, and so many different beautiful realms where these demigods are, enjoying themselves. They're demigods from all around the Svargaloka coming and enjoying on these places. So there were beautiful lotus flowers, the gardens of lotus flowers, or swarms of beautiful lotus flowers, and then these two demigods, which were, we would say in Croatia, Guzonin sin. Sin means sun, and this first word is a little, it's not so appropriate, but it means rich men's sons. They are rich men's sons. So, as usually happens, the sons of the rich men are very proud, puffed up, and completely uncontrollable. Nobody can control them, and they don't obey any rules, and usually they just cause how to say, trouble to the parents, just like the current president of greatest nation on the planet, United States of America. So his son, he is a playboy and did so much of trouble, actually, in some way threatening actually the position of his father because of his misdeeds and mischiefs. So this is what happens usually. It's just a natural thing. Due to the good karma, Nalakuvara and Manigriva were all the time intoxicated, and all the time they were just enjoying the association of beautiful girls. Because this is the woman and wine. This is the epitome. This is the peak of the happiness in the material world. Everybody is just looking for that, just to have enough things to intoxicate oneself. Just to forget the reality and the objects of senses, which are in Shastra mostly described as a woman, beautiful woman, which the object of senses, which actually evokes the last kamadinam katidana katida kamadinam katidana. How is that? Kamadinam katida falita dunidesha stesham jatanamai nakaruna natrapana pashanti vijayatana pradesam praptala lapta buddhis. And they're completely natrapa, no shame. There's no shame in that. This was a actually great offense, because in that moment when while they were enjoying, Narada Muni appeared. And then the girls, they felt shame and they ran away. They covered themselves. But these two guys, they were completely shameless. And they offered Narada Muni, would you like to drink? Come on, enjoy with us, take something, come on, don't be so strict, come on, enjoy life. You think Krishna will punish you if you drink a little bit with us or something? You think that Krishna is so cruel that he will get angry with you just for a little fall down? No, I'm just now sarcastic, because sometimes you can hear these voices from, especially in the West, from association of devotees who are not so strict. You don't have to be so strict. I mean, Krishna is so compassionate, and you just see where we are living. We are practicing Krishna consciousness in Kali Yuga. So you think that Krishna is not taking this in consideration? So if you do some, how's that transpass, if you transpass the rules of sadhana and Krishna consciousness, you think that Krishna, most important is your attitude. Krishna will count your attitude, and he will never forget. Of course, Krishna never forgets whatever you do in the devotional life, but this attitude is wrong. And Nala, Kuvara and Manigriva, they were devotees. It's not that they were not devotees. They were devotees. Kuvara, their father is very, important. One of the most important demigods. Who is most important? Like in the temple, who are three most important persons: temple president, temple commander, and treasurer. And sometimes treasurer is most important because everything is the keys of treasury are in his hands. So Kuvera, very important demigod. He's a devotee, and they were devotees. But still, when Narada Muni, who is he's a Deva Rishi, he's a Rishi among the demigods. He's a guru actually of all demigods. Everybody knows Deva Rishi. It's not that they didn't know who approached them and who. They immediately knew who is that. But this is the nature of Kamadinam Nakatida, Kama Adi. Everything starts with Kama. Everything starts with the lust. And then Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mohamada, Matsarya. Everything starts with the lust, with this desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. And then, especially when you're in such a position, if you have money, if you have unlimited opportunities to enjoy, if you have beautiful women around, it's very difficult to control senses. It's impossible to control senses, actually. And then the fall down, it's almost inevitable. It's just, Therefore, what do brahmacharis do? They deassociate themselves from this, from money. And then brahmacharis, they live separately from these worldly pleasures. They try to separate themselves from the worldly pleasures. Devotees, not only brahmacharis, are all supposed to be brahmacharis. And just understanding one's position, understanding one's fragile and limited power to control senses, one avoids this unnecessary association of such a things. But demigods, they just, therefore I said sakama. This is how they are described. They have a lot of material desires. And often, I heard one of the leaders of ISKCON saying this, that even many devotees in Krishna consciousness are ultimately going to join that heavenly realms because of that attitude, because of strong desire to enjoy, but in a pious way. And actually all Vedas and Hinduism, everything is about that. When you say, what is Hinduism? Recently, Maharaj mentioned this. He gave such a apt definition of Hinduism. And on the basis of Vedas, on the basis of Vedic culture, everything, the endeavor to avoid to surrender to Krishna, that's the Hinduism, But everything in a pious way. Everything in a pious way. So mundane piety doesn't lead to Krishna consciousness, doesn't lead to spiritual perfection. When one is liberated, when he goes back to the spiritual world, he passes through these realms, and his desire and his conviction, his attitude is tested, actually. One has to be very careful about not becoming attached to the this worldly pleasures, and I mean, for us that's unimaginable, when you have such a long, like this realms about, which are mentioned here, where demigods enjoy. This standard of enjoyment is just it's incredible. It's unbelievable, and that's the word, unbelievable. It's very difficult for us to believe. We don't see that. We don't see where is the north from here. North is this is the east. North is there. No? North side. We should have. We would have if we have this karmic license. If we are purified enough, we would see Sumeru, and we would see these realms. They are on the northern side. Sumeru is so high mountain, should be visible, but it's not visible. Thanks God. But the Sumeru is a golden. Then all these Varshas on the Jambudvip, all this, and Jambudvip, the Jambu fruit is huge as elephant. These descriptions, in Puranas and in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam is described the mangoes and coconuts and everything is huge like elephants. And there is these Jambu fruits are falling down, and the Jambu Nadis created the river. On the shore of the river, of that river is unlimited quantity of jewels. You don't have to spend money in AVR or Joy Lucas jewelry shops. You just go there and you pick it up. Just like here. Unfortunately, I have to say this. In India, you can pick up the plastic and garbage on the shores of the rivers. In the West, Western countries, they're a little better, so they try to preserve, after a little more experience. Since the industrial, revolution started earlier, they went through this phase. But India is now in this phase where they don't care. Previously, even in America, in the 50s of last century, when they started this car industry, was just booming. Everybody could afford a car. The standard way how they would, take care of the old cars, they would just dump it in the river. They would just dump the car in the rivers, and in the sea. Whoever was, living in the close proximity to the coast, But in the rivers, they would just throw the cars in rivers. You can see this there are some documentaries about it. Then, they go, oh my God, maybe that's not the best idea, So they started to clean the rivers. And now, in many places, there are, nice rivers where but you can never, like in Croatia, we have this, these lakes and rivers, very beautiful, protected by UN, by UNESCO, like a World Heritage. Very beautiful, lakes and rivers, very clean, like anything. You can see, in 5 meters, you can see the bottom of the river, fishes, everything. I mean, you can drink immediately. Beautiful, but they are not golden. There is no gold and jewels on the bank of that river. But in that realms, in that Svargaloka, actually it's not a Svargaloka. That's another great mystery. When we were researching, about descriptions of Svargaloka, actually hardly there are any descriptions of Svargaloka. Everything what is described is on the Jambudvip, which is, Bharatvarsha is a part of this island, central island of Bhumandala. And then demigods are coming down. But the standard of enjoyment is incredible. Then, generally, people go to Ganges not to enjoy. Now, these two young sons of Kuvera, they were going to Ganges to enjoy. They were enjoying with the girls. But Prabhupada says here in this short purport that generally people go to Ganges to live there, to purify themselves, to leave their sins. And that's an amazing quality of Ganga, of this celestial river. The Ganga removes the sins, Just a few days ago, I had a fortune after so many years to come to just incredible, this. I don't know. It struck me probably because I was for so many years in the West, how amazing this river is, and how amazing, especially when you come to the Prabhupada Ghat in Mayapur. This time of year, it's really huge. It's not shallow. It's not some ordinary. It's a very powerful river. It's very powerful and takes away your sins. But what Prabhupada says here, spiritual and material depends on one's mental condition. Well, that's the condition. There is a condition. Because, so many, dogs, monkeys, they also come to take bath in the Ganges, and even dead corpses are thrown in the Ganges. Ganga takes them away. It's not that the dogs become purified. Actually, yes, they become purified, but their consciousness is not since they don't have ability, it's not proper. So similarly, somebody who comes to enjoy or who comes to, sometimes it can be even so offensive that immediately you just so many times we had this experience, devotees would come with an enjoying spirit, jumping into Ganga and actually leaving body, or some other places. There was one devotee from our area there, he jumped into Radhakund and and just remain disabled. So we have to be very careful with that. So therefore, that's a condition. When you, just like in the spiritual life, like in a devotional life, everything is this. Was that the Bhavagrahi Janardana? That's Krishna's bhava. Everything depends on our attitude. And you can that story is there about Brahmin there was a prostitute living across the street, and he was, and she was, what to do? She was sustaining herself, by working in that, very low class, occupation, and then customers were coming, and this Brahmana was, keeping for each customer he would put a stone, and there was a big, pile of stones. He was all the time, meditating about that, how his attitude finally proved completely wrong because he didn't get liberation. And this lady, prostitute, the low-class woman, she was blessed because all the time she was repenting, that's unfortunate situation she is in, and she was thinking about Krishna. Well, at least that's the purport of that story. So the attitude is actually the most critical in the spiritual life. And of course, when we read about this example, we have to take in consideration that, as we say in Halakuvar and Manigiri, are not ordinary persons, and they met actually Narada Muni, who gave them blessing by, by cursing them, blessing in disguise, because they went, they got because they were so immoral and so low class in their behavior. They got, they were naked. They got this body of trees, which are naked. Trees are naked. They had to tolerate for 36,000 years. You know what means tree? Dogs are passing by. They leave the mark. The people come. They cut the tree, or they write some stupid acronyms or some messages or something. And then on the sun, and then in the northern hemisphere, western hemisphere, there is always heavy. There is a wind. There is a low temperature, very low. There is a snow. There is a rain. There is a cold weather. There all the time. There's, and you have to just you can cover yourself. You cannot take the jacket or something. You have to suffer there. Very low consciousness. Very low consciousness. And it's very, in this, like in Siberia or this northern hemisphere, Canada or somewhere, the trees, sometimes there is that particular tree, I don't know how you say in English, but there is huge, they grow very huge, like this, like 2 meters even. Trunks can be 2 meters. But when the winter comes, they have a lot of liquid in that. That liquid becomes frozen, and the trees crack, and they crack so loud. It's like a gun, like a thunder, boom, it's amazing. And then you feel so. If you are in the house and near the near the hot stove, you feel so lucky. Oh my God, I'm enjoying nicely. You have this kamin, with the fire nicely burning, and then outside trees are cracking because of this cold weather. So it's like this existence was, and for 36,000 years they were standing there suffering, but finally they got the darshan of Krishna. So their position, this example is not ordinary. It's it's not going to happen to us, since we are, probably, who knows, we are not the sons of demigods. But still, we got a chance. We same as they got the blessing of pure devotee, Devarshi Narada. We also got the blessing of Srila Prabhupada and his representatives. And we can also come to our senses, stop enjoying women and wine. Of course, you are not enjoying that. You're not doing that. I'm just, generally I'm speaking. And we can meet Krishna, finally. Hopefully, we'll not have to stay for 36,000 years. We'll do it sooner. We got this pure message of Krishna consciousness, this gift, matchless gift of Krishna consciousness, delivered by Srila Prabhupada to us. So we should be able, to very quickly come to our senses, become pure devotees, and go back home, back to Godhead. So since this was a short purport, I'm trying to make this short class, although I can wander around longer, but I'll stop here. Is there any question or comment or objection?
Just wanted a little bit more elaboration on something Prabhupada said in the purport. He says there that it is not that everyone becomes purified by entering the Ganges. So I was always under the impression that anyone that contacted the Ganges would be purified. You know, that they would lose their sinful reactions. That's the whole idea of going there, to go on pilgrimage to the Ganges. And that's why sinful people go there, to leave their sins there. The Ganges is so merciful that she takes those sins. The Prabhupada is saying here that not that everyone becomes purified by entering the Ganges. So if you can just elaborate, he says everything spiritual and material depends on one's mental condition. So is he talking about the ongoing life of the person after they leave the Ganges, or is he talking about when they actually enter into the Ganges at that exact time they're not becoming purified because they don't have the right consciousness? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, well, as far as I understand it, the purification is not, although it could happen, it's not instant, it's not at once. You have to go many times, but your attitude should be like this example of elephant, taking prayashchita, and going into river, bathing nicely, then coming out and again, spreading the dust on himself. So this is generally what people do. They go for the Ganga Snan, but then they come out and they continue with a sinful life. So what's the use of that? And that, as far as I know, I understand that this is what Prabhupada is mentioned. It's not that I'm so sinful, I'll go take bath in Ganga, and then after that I will continue with the the old style of life, sinful style of life. This is what generally, this is the wrong attitude. This is the wrong mental, this is all the Hinduism and Vedas, as I said, I repeated this definition Maharaj recently gave in his class about Hinduism. The ways and the means to, on the basis of Vedas and the Vedic culture, to avoid Krishna. So people know that it's purifying. They will go. But they think, I'll just, I'll be sinful. I will do whatever I have to do, whatever I want to do. I will take bath and then, I'm saved. But they will continue. They will not change the and changing attitude.
If they just go to the Ganges and take a bath and think, that's it.
Yes.
Then they're not getting any benefit.
I definitely. It's like this process of purification through varnashram. It's gradual and it's actually very slow. You have to go. You have to rise through all the varnas. Changing your consciousness, changing your activities, and then gradually, you have to come to the position when you have to surrender. So why don't we surrender immediately? That's the point. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.